Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a triumphant Tuesday so far. Today we're going to be diving into our daily cryptocurrency market update, and we've got a lot to share with you. I'm actually pretty astounded at the price action that Bitcoin saw yesterday. You know, Monday started off very down in the dumps, and we actually finished closing our candle out significantly higher than when we started the day out. And not only that, we are now back into and holding a level of support, an ascending level of support, or a trend line, I should say, that we've been holding for a significant period of time. And I'm now wondering, are we going to see a bit more of an uptick for Bitcoin? You guys know that right now, in regards to the cryptocurrency space, we are very cautiously optimistic. Very optimistic on crypto in the future that it is moving towards. I think mid to long term, the cryptocurrency market is going to do just fine. However, I am certainly cautious given everything taking place on a kind of monetary policy level and with the kind of macro backdrop. And we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll just go down some of the CNBC news articles because they all are somewhat doom and gloom. I mean, you've got the US Treasury Secretary Yellen to meet with top finance ministers to address global food crisis. You know, there's certainly a lot going on in the macro backdrop, and that's all going to factor into the cryptocurrency space. So we're very cautious on that, but we will talk about Bitcoin. I am quite impressed with the move that it made. I know a lot of traders that actually got stopped out and wrecked yesterday to both the long and the short side, which was certainly interesting. Still got that coupling with, of course, the Nasdaq, the S&P, and your kind of traditional equity market. We can see the Nasdaq saw a bit of an uptick yesterday, and of course, crypto moved in more of a volatile manner as it is much more of a higher beta. And then we're going to be going over some of the sort of news articles that we have. We're going to be talking about ETH2 because I've been in Ethereum. Ethereum was the second cryptocurrency that I ever bought, Bitcoin obviously being the first, and I think Ripple might have been the third, or XRP. And, you know, I've been waiting for this merge, Ethereum 2, ETH2 for a long time. They had recent news that it came out and got delayed. I'm growing. I am looking at this and going, I am not sure that they can actually pull this off anytime soon. And not because they're not capable individuals. I think they have an amazing group of developers working on Ethereum. More that it's such a complex thing to do, given everything that is actually built on top of Ethereum. It's not just a simple hard fork, you know. And also there are. And I was listening to somebody talk about why one of the developers talk about why there was a delay and actually talk about the fact that, look, the gas fees actually may not go down that much as a result of it, which is certainly going to be a huge issue if you ask me. So we've got a lot to get through. As usual, I've rambled on in the intro for way too long. I think everyone's a little bit more cheery today given the sort of upward move that we've seen for the cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin surprised me. You guys know we've been watching this weekly sort of MACD for a while now, and you did have one of these bullish crosses. Typically, you always get, not immediately, but after potentially a period of consolidation, a move to the upside. We've not actually seen that. Or we've not seen that as of yet. That doesn't mean that it's not coming. And if we look, you've not actually put in a bearish crosshair for your MACD. And are you going to do something similarly to what you did over here? And I'll highlight this for you, where you have that MACD cross, you come up, and then you come back, and you squeeze, look one way, go the other. And then you get a sort of upward move. Is that about to play out here? I think potentially it could. And you're very much coiling up here. You are in a structure now, back in a structure that we've been battling with, that I will show you guys, because I was actually very impressed with Bitcoin's move. You know, I am totally okay, and we spoke to you guys about being a medium of the market. I'm okay with the price going up. I'm okay with the price going down. You know, I'm going to make money off this market, whatever direction that it moves in. And the reason being is because my ultimate view is that crypto is on a journey that it's only just started. And I think there's a lot of value that's still yet to get swept up into it. And I'm here for the long term. So I'm a hodler for the next 5 years or so. I've already been here for nearly 5 years, or 5 years at this point. I'm going to be here for the next, and I've done very well off it to date. And I'm going to continue to do so, is my overall belief. That's why I continue to buy crypto. Yes, I'm sort of sat somewhat on the sidelines at the moment with quite a lot of stable coins, but that's because I'm waiting for a capitulation event potentially, so that I can accumulate more. You know, I'm in this for the long term. But I was extremely impressed with Bitcoin's move yesterday. It's not good that people are getting so swept up on the daily sort of movements of crypto. You want to take more of a sort of longer term time horizon, and then, you know, these sort of short term bipolar moves at the cryptocurrency market and all markets at the moment, because they're all acting crazy. I mean, if anybody that's into markets will know what China are doing at the moment. It's just, I mean, I don't even know what to do in terms of an investment in China. But one thing that was interesting is we kind of started the day off, we'll leave it like that, down here. We had broken this ascending support that we had held now for the best part of 88 days, so nearly 3 months. You had broken this, and you have done this previously, and in a similar kind of fashion, you've now come back above it, which is showing that you have got your buyers here. And do we see a return move and a similar thing? That's what I would really like to see. Of course, the thing that is discouraging yet encouraging is the fact that we also saw an uptick for the likes of your NASDAQ and your S&P yesterday. I kind of want to see a decoupling. I almost want to see them go down and the crypto space to go up. Reason being is because I don't like just how the Federal Reserve isn't the only thing moving markets at the moment, but they're a huge factor. And if you ignore that, and really what they're doing in terms of interest rate speculation and the Fed funds rate and a number of other things, is really, driving market price. And we can see that, Bitcoin in orange, you've got the NASDAQ in baby blue, and of course you've got the S&P in red. You can see the correlation again, and Bitcoin's almost front running it. I'm not really sure I want to see that, because if the Fed do come out more harshly on inflation, which they should have already done, by the way, guys, I know that sounds crazy, me saying that, being a Bitcoiner and a cryptoer, but the Fed, inflation is literally killing people. And the Fed should have come out and moved a lot more harshly on it than they have. It's kind of very much a token gesture. It's less than a token gesture to up interest rates by 25% in the face of, 8% inflation, 8.5% inflation in the US. So I'm really still looking for that decoupling, but we're going to be watching this daily. But it's a nice little move that Bitcoin saw. I know a lot of traders that got wrecked, and we could be setting up a kind of base here. I'll drop down the 4 hour. I am in touch with, and I'll probably get some of them on the show, a lot of swing traders, a lot of intraday traders that trade ranges, and they were actually quite excited about this little move. And these guys are smart. They're not your typical run-of-the-mill crypto YouTubers or crypto Twitter guys. These guys actually make money, and I can attest to it. And they were saying, look, you could be building a base here for potential upside, which is what we're going to look for. And of course, the crypto market's going to go with it. Let's get into some news, guys. Crypto exec, read the tea leaves on spot Bitcoin ETF approval. Again, can we just get the yes or no when one's approved, rather than people continuously speculating on it? A spot Bitcoin ETF, I think next week you've got the first spot Bitcoin ETF going live in Australia. We have them in Brazil. We have them in Canada. The US is just dragging their feet, and ultimately this can be quite detrimental, I think, to innovation. But at the same time, Gary Gensler and the people at the SEC, they don't want to make the wrong decision because it could potentially, in their view, have catastrophic effects. But we already have a futures ETF. I don't see any reason for there not to be one. And Grayscale have actually considered going into a legal action against them for continuing to deny this. And it's a typical sign that your overlords are making you ask them for permission to use something that is permissionless. Anyway. Digital Fund seeks to launch tokenized S&P 500 fund. This is something that we're going to see in the future. We are going to see stock markets come onto the blockchain, I believe. I actually already know. I don't really want to name the project because they're very small and still trying to figure quite a bit out, but they do work, and I have actually... I know you can buy stocks on the blockchain via certain protocols built on top of Phantom. And, it's kind of like a brokerage on top of the blockchain that you can get exposure to stocks and everything. But this is something that we're going to see continue to move in the future on the ALGORAND blockchain. ALGORAND are a very impressive blockchain that doesn't get anywhere near the hype that they deserve, by the way, guys. Congress tell SEC redefining long-standing concepts would be bad for digital ecosystem. SEC are the SEC, guys. They do what they want because they have the might of the government behind them. And, crypto almost does need to be defined. It's different, but it inherently should be a commodity and not a security, or a currency in some cases. And everything really starts out as a commodity until deemed otherwise. And I think the only thing that isn't is onions, potentially, onion futures or something like that, which is interesting. Republican House Financial Service Committee member are reciting proposed changes to the 1934 Exchange Act in a letter to the SEC. Here's how ETH's option traders could prepare for the proof of stake migration. Whenever this happens, yes, they do have the beacon chain running. I think on testnet it's actually running quite successfully. The problem you've got is bringing it over to mainnet. And the issue isn't just Ethereum, it's the dApps built on top of it. How do you make that merge happen without something somewhere going down? And you've got to remember, a lot of these products built on top of Ethereum have to the tune of billions of dollars inside of them. Certainly when you talk about Aave and Compound and MakerDAO. You know, how do we know that something doesn't break? It's a task that I tell you I would not want to. Ethereum had a kind of get to market strategy, whereas you've got other layer ones out there that are already proof of stake. And the reason being is because it's more efficient, you know, in many, many ways. Certainly if you're running a smart contract protocol, it's a lot more efficient. And I think Ethereum's probably going to suffer. I think they will get the merge ETH2 round at some point, but I think they're going to suffer in the meantime whilst there's such delay and such uncertainty. And there is a lot of uncertainty, by the way. Speak to the devs. They won't even be able to give you really a clear timeline, even though they throw them out every now and then. And I'm not a hater on ETH, by the way. I hold a lot of Ethereum, and like I say, it was a second cryptocurrency that I bought. But I do think, from me, in terms of an investment point of view, there are other cryptos, other layer ones out there that are going to offer a higher ROI for a number of reasons. One of the big ones is because they have smaller market caps and you know, need a lot less room to kind of make those percentages. But I am still hopeful that Ethereum merges, but I'm kind of at the same time, for me, I'm just like, it just seems like such a hard task at this point. But we'll see. Last bit of news, TERRA, of course, we're going to talk about TERRA when this laptop decides to load up. TERRA Luna surges 17% as UST becomes third largest stablecoin. TERRA, and lots of people hate on TERRA, but they finessed the game with TERRA UST. TERRA's success, in fact, in my opinion, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it's solely due to UST, which is what I was going to say, because I think that would be unfair to all the people that are building on top of the TERRA ecosystem. And they really have some great things going on there. I use the Anchor protocol, for example, to farm stablecoins because it's just such an attractive APY, or APR, I should say. But they one of the main reasons they succeed is because they're UST, and they did very well coming up with that strategy. And I think Duquan is a very interesting character. And, you know, I think they've done very well on the back end of this. And you know, they're going to continue to do well as a result of it, in my opinion. The next thing that I have for you is really just discussing some of the news articles. So when we say that we're cautious, I think there's a lot of uncertainty and issues going on in the world right now that I think are going to factor through to markets. And I don't think we've seen the worst of it. We did say in yesterday's video, I kind of want a capitulation event. And some of you are going to go, oh, how can you say that? You know, I kind of want some sort of a drawdown that, you know, we get kind of that V-shaped bottom and we get the momentum back in markets and back off to the races, because we're just range bound at the moment and it's very trader driven, and I kind of want to shake them off and, you know, get some sort of a momentum back into this market. But I think that's going to come the second half of the year. I think that's largely going to come actually with regulatory clarity, which we know we're going to get by the second half of the year or into the second half of the year. I think that's going to be the main driver for the next level of adoption. But right now, you know, it's not. There's just so much going on. You know, soaring inflation is hitting retirement savings hard. Here's how best to manage yours. Why China shows no sign of backing away from its zero-something strategy. You got Janet Yellen. You got Musk talking about. You know, there's a lot going on out there, guys. And lots of things that potentially, price of corn hits 9-year high as surging commodities continue. I think commodities are going to continue to go up. I think we're going to end up in some sort of a stagflationary environment. The Fed are going to try and bring down inflation with raising up interest rates. What they're going to do is actually kill growth and kill demand. And I don't think it's going to have much effect on killing off inflation in terms of your commodities and stuff like that. Yet it will have an effect on the stock market, because we've already seen the stock market act and price in interest rate hikes, and we showed you that with the euro-dollars future. That is really all I have for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next one.